Welcome to another episode of Great Food and the Best Topics with husband and wife. Today's show is being recorded at the Muni It's the Muni.
Was it a bar and grill? The Muni?
The Muni.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right in the heart of Wayzata, overlooking an awesome lake. I don't know the name of the lake, so I think it's maybe Xxxtentacion.
It's not overlooking the lake.
Yes, it is. There's a lake right there, behind Starbucks.
We can't see it.
Yeah, I kind of made it seem like there's a view. There is no view. There's a view of cars and buildings. But it is a nice area, that's for sure. A lot of expensive cars. And the menu here is okay, I guess. I mean, it seems like your standard bar and grill, right? Yeah, but we'll taste the food. We'll let you guys know how everything tastes as we go over our topics.
Have you decided?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, we're ready.
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
So how big is the veggie burger? Is it pretty big?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a burger size.
Okay. Well,
The turkey burger's bigger.
okay. Well, I'm just wanting to know in terms of if it's small because
Yeah.
I want to make sure I can eat it up.
Right.
Oh, can I try the Southwest veggie burger
Sure.
with fries, please? And then for the soup, is it like a cup or a bowl type of
I got
option?
either cup or bowl.
Can I get a cup of the loaded potato, please? Can I have that come out first?
Sure. And sir,
Could I get the grilled chicken quesadilla without sour cream?
you got it. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll let you know how the food tastes once it comes out. Let you know how our taste bud feels about the quesadilla and the... What did you get? Pot roast?
What? A Southwest veggie burger?
I don't know why I was thinking pot... Oh, no, you got that loaded potato.
Oh, she think I got a pot roast?
I don't know why. But when she was going over like the specials, she had mentioned that. But she also mentioned the loaded potato soup or something.
I wasn't a pot roast, but it was like a... I don't know what it was.
Anyway, that's what was in my head. That is the explanation I'm giving.
I want a pot roast.
All right.
A pot roast.
Has it been a while? I can't tell.
Is it their podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, we waited 2 weeks to do it.
We're sorry. I felt like we did 2 in 1 week though. The one with my sisters, and I felt like we did 2 of those that week.
Did we?
I don't know. Well, we apologize.
I can't remember.
We'll be more consistent. It's been a busy couple of weeks. And I feel like it's leading into a busy weekend. You guys are about to go to San Diego. Are you excited about that?
Yeah.
What's the plan?
I don't really have anything planned on Friday when we get there. Because we'll probably get there around 1-ish. And I kind of want to be lazy, but maybe we'll just like hang out at the pool and get a nice dinner or something.
Yeah.
But on Saturday, there's this new children's museum that's close by.
Oh, cool.
And it's funny because Saturday is a day of, it's really like a lot of hands-on activities. So I think that would be really fun for Nikita. So I plan to go there. And there's this really nice pastry place that's close by too. So stop there. It's called Extraordinary Desserts. So I want to go check that out.
Cool. What'd you learn about that?
Oh, I was just looking at the map because I was just trying to
smart.
compare like how far everything was. Like I just wanted to make sure things were close to the airport, and then things were close to our hotel. And
You're so good at making plans, babe.
so that's what I plan on doing for Saturday. I mean, maybe we'll fit something else in there. I need to tell my aunt that we're gonna be there too, so maybe they'll come and we'll have dinner together or something.
Right.
And then on Sunday, plan to go to the San Diego Zoo.
Ooh, that's nice.
It's actually not that expensive. My sister made it sound like she's like tickets are like $100. I was like $100. Oh my gosh. Then I checked, it wasn't that much. It's probably going to be $100 total for both of us to go, which is not like.
No, it's not bad.
And then in Children's Museum,
I felt like the Bronx Zoo cost more
It's
for
a
me and
lot.
Deshawn.
Oh, it's the Bronx Zoo.
Yeah. So that's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's yeah, and then going to that museum, it's I think only like $14 or something. 14 for an adult, 12 for
Nice. Are you
kids.
gonna hit the beach at all?
I think we'll try, but it's kind of far.
Oh, okay.
It's probably gonna be like an hour type of
Oh.
situation to go out to the beach.
Oh, yeah. That's,
I mean, but we're by the bay, which is not the same thing though.
maybe that's something that your aunt can help out with. in a way.
Yeah.
Something cool. I'm sure she'll come up with something. She seems pretty into it.
Yeah, I mean, she just got done hosting my sister and her girlfriend out there. It sounded
yeah.
like they did a lot of fun things.
Yeah, I saw some pictures on Facebook. So let's get into our topics and stop boring our fan base.
You can start first.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard this or not, and honestly, I wanted to do a little bit more reading on it, but I guess we can just talk about it from the ignorance perspective. But Donald Trump, you'll never believe this, announced that he's going to open up a 6th military branch.
What?
You know how it's like the armed forces and the air force,
Oh, he wants to open an entirely new one? Like,
called the Space Force.
oh, that's what people were talking about. I saw it on
What?
social media, but I didn't really know what they were talking
In
about.
his real life. He's like, and we're going to call it the Space Force. It's going to be wonderful, you know? Donald Trump's voice.
So people like, so they're basically gonna be fighting like
It's Star Wars.
aliens or what?
I don't
Well, first they have to like let the world know that there are aliens because they're still trying to cover that up.
Right. There's aliens, 1, and 2, we have to defend the planet from it. I just feel like it's just ridiculous. I don't know. It just seems funny to me. Maybe it's necessary. I don't know. Because it's military, which means it's defensive. And like even in his statement, he wants to make sure that we're prepared for that battle. And it's just funny
So what?
to me.
So he's low key telling us like, yeah, there's
Aliens,
there's
and
aliens
it's
out
serious.
there.
Like serious. We need to get serious about our space defense. I don't know if it's that. I just think he's saying, I have no idea. I have
there's
no
that.
idea.
They probably like let him know because they let all the presidents know.
What? Okay, that's it. We gotta do something about this.
And then he just like let
the
he
cat out the
didn't let
bag.
anybody know that this was his plan. He was like, I'm just gonna just
Go up
say
there.
stuff.
Go up there.
That's what happened.
Honestly, coming up with a title like Space Force, it kind of sounds like on the cusp. We're gonna call it Space Force. So, sign up today. Man, I'm signing up for the Space Force. That sounds like so sci-fi. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it seems kind of crazy because it seems like it's really hard to be an astronaut, right? Like, and you're just going up into space,
That's right.
floating around.
They
so,
gotta make it easy.
Like, how do you train to be like someone to fight in space
Get
when
serious about it.
right now we're just at the level of just floating around in space,
I
trying
don't
to
know. Bumping into
figure
each
it
other.
out.
Hey, I couldn't be more interested in the verdict of this. I think it's stupid. I think it's a big waste of money, especially with everything else going on in the world. But it's like he doesn't fail to like surprise the
Keep you
world.
entertained.
Right. It's like, man, you can't come up with anything crazy like than that. And then boom. What? And like the craziest part is that in a couple weeks there's going to be another situation that he creates that's like, what? What's going on? So I don't know, man. That's our president. But on the other side of things, perhaps and hopefully it ties into NASA in a way, because I know that NASA's been defunded quite a bit and we're privatizing the space program in a way that obviously is creating a lot of advancements. Like if we talk about SpaceX and Elon Musk's advancements with landing and reusable rockets, so that's pretty cool. In regards to that, basically, handing the baton over to the private sector from government sector. But, when it is government managed, there's this, I think it ties back into the exploratory functions of the space program, right? You know, what's on Mars? What do we do when all the resources on the the planet are gone, and how do we continue to survive? So, those are the questions that hopefully get answered with this program and the money that's spent on this, because I don't know, like, aliens don't exist in my world, right? Like, if they do, they're too far for us to really care about, and I could be completely wrong, right, as Trisha has stated. But if they're gonna spend money on something, right, and they want to put it under the guise of defense, hopefully it's also has everything to do with exploration and science and growth. So I don't know, but that's doesn't fail to shock this president at all. Like, I bet media doesn't even know what to do. Like, yo, we're not even done talking about him in North Korea. Like, now this? Like, what do we choose?
That's his game. Let me just distract them with something crazy. Crazy.
Oh, and by the way, I didn't collude with Russia. Like, the way he continues to reinforce that makes me feel like he's mad guilty. You're mad guilty, yo.
Always talking about Obama. Like, always.
Why you looking at me? Go look at this. Shiny.
Right. Yep.
And, America, unfortunately, has this microwave capacity. It's like as soon as we talk about it for 1 second, it's over. And it's kind of funny because
microwave capacity. What do you mean? Oh, yeah. Like a short attention span.
Yeah. I probably said that wrong, but
no,
you guys
no,
understand
I get
what
what
I'm
you're
saying.
saying. Like, because
they want, we want our things quick, fast,
quick,
and then next on to the next one. So, but I think that ties into your next topic kind of cleanly.
Oh, about Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe this is something that he's trying to distract from, but the new immigration policy about people who are crossing the border and what happens to them now if they have children. Their children are separated from them, and they get prosecuted for crossing the border, which is a misdemeanor crime. So journalists have toured the facilities in which children are being held, and some video coverage and photos were released, and it looks kind of sad. The conditions that they're being held are sad. They look like they're covered up with tinfoil. I mean, it's obviously not tinfoil, but some type of urgency type blanket.
Yeah, emergency blanket.
They're basically sleeping on gym mats. You remember the mats in gym? I don't know. But on the ground, they're held in these cage-like rooms. So it's pretty crazy situations. They're young children. I don't know what the ages vary, but they look like very young children, just all together.
Real young. I've seen 3-year-olds.
So I can imagine for a person, I think just for an adult, it would be scary to be held in a facility like that and not, I'm assuming that English is not their first language, and not have any idea what's going on. Their parents aren't with them. So it's definitely seems like a very traumatic experience, and Donald Trump's response is, it's Democrats. The Democrats did this. And only the Democrats can fix it. So, I guess it's one of those things. I feel like the Space Wars is distracting from that issue.
I'm sure he could do something about it, but he's saying that Congress has to vote on it. So they need to hurry up and figure it out and reinvent the policy.
Yeah, but wasn't he the one who...
But yeah, he could do something about it.
He's the one who, let's crack down. It was his administration, let's crack down on this situation.
Right.
It was just in the past month where it was this crackdown. It wasn't like this before.
That's true. What do you feel? How do you feel about the entire situation? Like, who's wrong? Who's right?
I don't think that families should get separated like that for a misdemeanor offense. You know, when you go on social media and see people giving their 2 cents about it, and like, well, the parents shouldn't be committing a crime. You know, if I were to commit a crime, like, I would be separated from my children too. I'm like, depends on what you're committing. And they don't even know how long. Like, I'm assuming that they're probably understaffed, so I don't know how long it's gonna take for these people to get prosecuted for this offense.
Right.
I'm not even really sure like what happened before. If they would just like stop them and be like, no, you gotta go back to Mexico. Like, I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm just under the guise that if I had children, and I guess it's like the lesser of two evils is what I have to consider, because if they're running away, I believe that they're running away from the stories that I read, the violence in Mexico.
Yeah.
So they're running away for a reason, but they know that if they go across the border, there's a big chance that, you know, they'll get prosecuted and that their children will get taken away. And I think that's just something that you have to weigh. I think it stinks that there's a whole bunch of kids in these encampments, but it's almost like that's what the parents wanted at that point, isn't it?
Wanted to be in those
Or
facilities.
why? So they picked
They wanted to come to America and be in America. Like, that was their goal. Like, mindset, or not, their mindset was,
but they had
we're
to
gonna
know.
cross this border.
Yeah, but
and
they
we're
had
gonna
to
be
know
in
that
America and live a better
not.
life.
But agree that it's not legal, right? It's not. This is not the typical. I'm sure there's Mexican Americans, right? People who took whatever path to legalize a status in America. Now, maybe there's hurdles to that, like money and time, and these people just don't have it, which then becomes a decision that they have to make. Do I stay here and, you know, my whole family dies, and that seems to be the narrative. I have no idea, but that's what it seems to be. Or do I cross the border, you know, maybe I'll make it through, and then I'll just be, you know, running under the radar, which I don't even think that's a positive thing. I mean, anyway, but that's a whole different story. Or I could get caught, and my children will be taken away from me. This is a known thing. I mean, and as an attorney,
like, I just don't
if you know
I
that
don't
this person is risking the situation, I mean, how do you?
They thought would happen, like they would get separated like that.
It's been happening.
Well, why is it such a big deal now then? Because
let's say it's been happening for
like
2 weeks. Let's just say it's been. I mean, it's been happening longer than this, but let's say it's just been happening 2 weeks.
Who's communicating? Who's sending these messages out
listen.
to people? Like they get caught, and they're sending messages to other people like, "Hey, if you get caught, they're gonna take it.
We know.
They're gonna take."
They have to know.
How on their phones? Their smartphones.
I'm just saying, media, man, the radio, while they're sleeping on their way to the border.
Because they got like a portable radio.
Yeah, they probably do. Honestly, that sounds like a really big possibility. And it's running on double Ds. And it has one speaker to the side.
I mean, so are you saying that, like, whatever is happening is like a deterrent for it to continue to happen? Or what do you? Like,
I mean, that's what it is. And this unfortunate event is happening, but it has to be somebody's decision at that point. I feel like it's all right. So let me start from the other side. I feel like this is terrible. Like, what's happening to these children are better. There should be some type of better way of holding these children as they prosecute the parents, or if there's a way to, you know, keep them together. I don't want these kids to be separated from their parents, but it's almost like a cart before the horse situation. It's like, guys, don't cross the border illegally. And then everything else is a them problem, not a us problem.
Quesadilla
Thank you.
with extra sour cream. I'm teasing. There you go. Enjoy. Did you care for anything other than ketchup or mustard?
No.
All right.
This is great. Thank you. Did you need that to cut in half? Or you're good with that?
I could cut it in half myself. Are you gonna cut it in half for me? Wait.
Yeah, it was. But since you can cut it yourself.
Did you need me to cut this in half for you, little
So,
baby?
like, I don't know, like, if that makes sense. Like, it's it's a philanthropist or like this external issue, because there are issues. There are issues around the globe that are going on. We can talk about Nigeria and Boko Haram and them stealing young women, or just being a terrorist group on the northern side. So America should send troops and planes out there to obviously defeat Boko Haram, and then put all of the refugee individuals in a plane and bring them over to America. Like, we could be doing this all day long across the world where there's issues. Or do we say, hey, country, with your people in it, you deal with it, you figure it out? Especially a country like Mexico. I mean, it's not like a first world country like Italy or France or America, but they do well for themselves. And I really feel like they should be able to handle those issues, because at the end of the day, no one's helping us handle our issues. We got to handle our own issues.
You sure that no one's helping you?
Who? I'm not sure. A lot of this stuff is assumptions.
Don't we always find a lot of money?
But I feel like
You're giving us money.
money, okay. Money that's like credited on the backs of Americans. Like, we have to pay that back someday. You know, a lot of the aid that we give, we don't have to give back. It's aid. So I don't know how I feel. I think it's terrible that these kids are in their situation. I don't know if it's Donald Trump's. I don't know if it's the Democrats. I don't know if it's Congress's fault. I really feel like it's Mexico's fault. Mexico, do something about the crime in your country. Mexico, do something about, the social issues and injustices and crime within your borders, and all of these like inhumane situations are solved. Why is it our problem?
I think that's like bigger picture, yeah. But right now, like, what we should be having better conditions for this situation,
I agree with that.
for these families to be in.
I'm very curious to know what we did before. Did we just send them home? And why not just continue to do that? I don't know.
If they want to crack down, and probably it'd be a deterrent.
And make them feel like, stop. I mean, what do you feel about that in itself?
What? Sending them back?
As a deterrent. Is that the wrong style of deterrence?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like an inhumane thing. I don't know, it's kind of funny, like, people, posting about this, and it's just saying, like, like, America's been doing this, like, they would separate slaves from each other. They would separate kids from their mother and stuff, or even
That's an adverse comparison.
adverse comparison.
That's not like you're comparing slavery, where black people were stolen from their land and brought here, to people trying to escape their land and come here illegally.
I'm just saying, like, that.
Like this.
Why are people surprised? Like, not saying that it's a good thing, but people are outraged. Like, this has happened. Like, even with Native Americans, it's happened.
Yeah.
Like, well into the 1970s, where Indian children were taken from their families and put into boarding schools.
And all I'm saying is, to those stories, Native Americans, African American, anything like that, Chinese, I know they went through the same thing, or maybe it was Japanese, I'm not sure.
Japanese.
That's a completely different story. My heart, there's nobody that is wrong for that situation except America. Like, that's a broad statement, America, but that's our issue, for real. We need to own that and fix it and solve it. And I think there's still a lot of people that are going through pain because of
Why
that.
can't we own this, though?
I don't know if we can own this.
This hurt.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do with the policies that you have, and sometimes they evolve, and there's like, what do they call it? There's collateral damage. It's tough that it's these children, but the law is in place for a good reason, I think. I mean, all right, so as an attorney, do you ever see that? Like, there's laws in place, you understand why that law's in place, but it's doing something that...
At the time. No, like, first of all, slavery used to be legal. whenever they were taking Native American children from their families and putting them in boarding schools.
I'm talking about
That was
currently.
legal.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
But yeah, I don't necessarily think that just because it's a law necessarily means that
And that's what I'm addressing.
it was like, it's always like the best.
Yeah, that's what I'm addressing. So I'm saying this is not a good policy. Have you seen policies like this in your own like day-to-day work with the area that you govern, right? Or where there's a policy that you don't rock with and you're like, if this could change, I understand why this policy is here, but it needs to change because these things are happening.
Yeah.
You have an example?
I mean, not like in terms of
I suppose you don't
a
want to be
dire
too
situation.
specific. Yeah, it's not going to be the same.
I mean, it's just always like a situation where like you have a policy, but then a situation comes up that doesn't like fit into what that policy intended to cover. And it's like, well, here's this situation like over here, like that this policy doesn't cover. So like doesn't necessarily like fit. So what do we do with that? So it's always like, you see what the negative effects that policy does. So it's like, well, how do we minimize those negative effects? Like there's always going to be collateral damage because you can't have laws or policies to like benefit everybody. Like someone is going to be negatively impacted in some way at some degree. But if you see that it's there is a big negative impact and people are advocating against it, that's whenever you need to make changes.
That makes sense. Does it usually take a long time to make those type of changes?
Yes, it does.
A lot of people get
Sometimes
hurt.
it's too late. Sometimes it's too late. Like just like you were saying, let's go back to Native Americans. Their children being taken away from their families and put into boarding school and like forced to not practice their culture anymore. Like some years after that, like they passed the Indian Child Welfare Act where it's like, all right, we're gonna, if there's ever like out of home like placement, like in a child protection case, like we're gonna try to make sure to like have these kids go with their families, or we're gonna make sure that these kids are going to Indian homes because
and it sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good, but it's like you already messed everybody up though. Like everyone's messed up now.
It's too late.
It's too late. Everyone's messed up.
And now, in a lot of ways,
everyone has felt the trauma of
that separation.
that policy.
And now that the policy is what it is, to like fix it, that's almost hurting a little bit too, right? Because it's almost like you're giving them to family members that may not be qualified to watch them.
But it's like you want to encourage that, That's what the policy says, or that's what the law says. It's not even policy. It's like that's what the law says, that you need to try to put them with family first. If not family, then you need to try to put them with an Indian family, and then if not that, then it's at the very end like non-Indian family. But you need to have a good reason. Like, do you have good cause to deviate from those preferences? So in that
and that's up to interpretation in a lot of ways too.
Yeah, but it's like sometimes you have like family members that want to have their family with them, but they're not necessarily like the best. They're not like the best like options for them. Sometimes like a non-native option is like the best option, but you have this like law in place that makes it hard. So,
what do they say? The democracy is an experiment. I just think it's ever evolving. I think it's super unfortunate that these children are suffering. I feel like someone needs to fix this right away. We need to change the unfortunate fact that these policies take a long time to change, and and I think people are doing the right thing. They're opening their mouths and letting the media is doing the right thing, letting people know what's going on so real change can happen. But I don't know if it's coming from a negative spot, where my fingers are pointing in regards to where this is emitting from, but we can be the group with the solution, and I think it is important to always keep an aura of humanity, no matter what you're doing, no matter what, like, if it's a crime, you gotta, like, I mean, I guess that's the all Black Lives Matter thing. I mean, they're treating us like we're not humans, like we don't matter when we speak about police brutality. So it's just like, the general consensus throughout the world per every human should be to respect humans and life on this planet. So I agree with you, babe.
How are you doing over here?
Good.
I can't remember. What was my third topic? I can't remember. So
I want a rapper.
So I have it. Oh, yeah. So, last night, Xxxtentacion, I'm saying his name all wrong, got gunned down in a robbery. Now, I am 31. He's not like in my, I think, demographic. However, I have heard his music on the radio. His number one hit that was on the Billboard was "Look at Me." It had a really cool beat. I like the beat better than the actual lyrics. It's like, it's these goofy lyrics where they say like a couple, like 5 words and then go and and but the beat's fire and it's something to vibe to, and obviously his fan base loved it. It's in the millions of views, and obviously his fan base loved him because they're really reacting to this in a really hard way. I'm surprised that, I'm not surprised that somebody's dead, rapper-wise, because these guys are reckless, in my opinion. I just feel like utilizing social media and being Twitter thugs and just trolling and trying to get reactions and actions from people that are adverse just to sell, like, be it merch or have streams on their new song is outrageous to me. But XXX didn't seem like, and maybe I just don't know because this is not my demo, seemed like the guy that was involved in all that. Right now it sounds like Tekashi 6ix9ine, going to Chicago and saying I'm in your neighborhood, come
sound like
come
he was
find me.
a violent person.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm hearing, but it's just not well known to me. But at the end of the day, obviously he was asking for that smoke. I mean, he was asking for some type of negative something because it definitely found him. Either with karma or maybe it was bad luck. I don't know, because it was a robbery. All blacked out van pulled up on him and popped on him. And
took his stuff?
Yeah, it was a robbery. So it wasn't like maybe like a rival. It was just somebody that knew that this kid had a bag.
Why would you
took
kill
it.
him though? Like, why would you just
right?
take his stuff and then leave him?
Right?
Like, let's kill him and then take his stuff.
I did as much research as I could. It just seemed like they didn't have all the details, Like, it was maybe 3 paragraphs deep, anything that I read, and it just said that he was slumped up after a robbery and they're still looking for the 2 suspects, But overall, it's just, we learned this from Tupac and Biggie. Like, it's the energy that you put out there, that boomerang's back, and and I think the man left a lot sooner than he had to.
Yeah.
I was looking at this one documentary. It had like a few rappers in it, and it had Joe Budden and another gentleman in there. I can't remember his name, but he's basically saying how he felt responsible for where these kids are at and just not caring. And I feel like that's true, man. Like, I feel like hip hop put a lot of pollutants in the water, if that makes sense. They were definitely echoing the status quo, but they weren't talking about the future in a lot of ways. They were just talking about the environment that they were in or that they had been in before they, blew up. And you have all these influential kids absorbing your music, hearing, hey, you're not gonna be here past 25. Like, bro, like, drugs is the answer, getting drunk is the answer, or being a hustler is an answer, and that's why we're finding ourselves in jail That's why we're finding ourselves not planning for a long life, but being fast and living a short life like XXX. So, you know, in a lot of ways, man, like we marketed this negativity to ourselves. So I hope, you know, that our future leaders, like thought leaders, continues to echo, you know, about mental health, about taking care of yourself, about financial responsibility, about respecting women and, you know, themselves, being there for their wives or baby mothers and children, and, you know, just being a great person, you know, at the end of the day. So
Thank you. No thanks.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Okay, how about you?
I'm still working on this. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
got it.
So XXX RIP. Yeah, I mean, that's what I have to say about that. You have any thoughts?
I mean, even though like I didn't really follow him like that. I mean, the only things that I have seen about him on social media were negative. You know, that doesn't
The
ever
only thing they wanna show.
that right. I mean, well, after he had passed, though, like people, you know, a lot of celebrities were making comments about how he seemed to be making like positive steps to change, like even though he, you know, had this abusive like history of being abusive to women, and
Right.
that he was taking steps to change, and that it's unfortunate that, you know, like he didn't have the time to grow up, to show that growth to, you know, to his fans, or to his just to, I guess, just to the world. And so I mean, it is unfortunate because 20 years old, like when you think about 20, when we were 20, like it was so young, and we just didn't even know about life,
I
and
know.
just really just starting.
baby.
Yeah, so it's
Crazy.
sad. Like I think it's sad for anybody to be taken away at a young age, and yeah, I mean, gun violence is definitely a problem
It's a big
in
problem.
this country.
Big problem.
So I don't really have much to say. You really said like a lot.
Well, let us know what you think. Comment below. Don't forget to like and share.
We have one more topic.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's my bad. What's our last and final
I don't know if you
topic?
can really say anything about it though, but I was gonna just try to end on a lighter note.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
So the MTV Music Awards were yesterday, and Tiffany Haddish hosted.
I have nothing to say about that.
Yeah, because you didn't watch it, and I usually don't watch the MTV movie awards, but just because she was the one who had hosted,
I love Tiffany.
I was like, you know what? Let me watch this. And usually, like people who are like funny who host it don't end up doing like all that great either.
Yeah, they seem
hosting.
canned or something.
But she did a really good job. Like she was so funny. Like just in her, you know, they do a lot of parodies of the really popular movies. So that's what she was doing too, and she was so funny. And everyone, like flies all over the place. And you know, she had a lot of wardrobe changes, and it was basically going back to whatever she's been saying. You
Yeah,
know how
she's themed out, yo.
she's like she's on a budget. So a lot of the things that she was wearing were dresses from some other famous celebrity wearing like a long time ago. Like she wore like a dress that like J-Lo had worn, and she was like, you know, or Cardi B, and
That's so great.
so it was funny. But I thought she was funny through the whole thing.
I gotta watch it. I definitely gotta take that in, and that's funny that I'm watching an award show specifically for the host. Like I don't think I've ever done that, but I'll take that whole thing on just for that Tiffany Haddish
Like
fix.
you'll like I guarantee that you'll laugh just in the first 5 minutes.
Man, she made me come to tears, so I have nothing but respect for her, and like laughing. So that doesn't even happen very often. So like she is one of the greats, and she just started, in my opinion, anyway. One thing that I love about comedians, and it just sounds like she does this like on a macro level, like in a big way, but just themes, just having like this theme, right? And the way that she always does that nay, it's like almost her signature move, like, oh, okay, Tiffany's stepping out, and it just puts a smile on your face right away. And then, I don't know, her smile, and she has these little freckles or whatever, so she has like this big cartoon head that's pretty dope. Like, again, it's like
freckles. You mean she has like a mole?
like a mole or something. Yeah. So it's just like cartoonish in a way, you see Mickey's three, circles, like that's joy, or like she kind of has that same feel to her face. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I see her, and it just you see people that are just genuinely funny, like organically funny. I had this one girl that I used to work with. Her name was geez, babe. I'll come back to her, but she has the same personality. She's just like this bright personality, always goofy, always
Danielle?
funny. Yeah, Cooper.
Danielle
Cooper. Yeah.
That's funny that I know that.
Yeah, because she's not like a friend of the family, like hardcore, but she is one of those people.
I know that. I just know that that's who you're talking about.
Yeah,
she's the only one that
people.
sticks out as being like super goofy.
But then also like awesome, like not like somebody that you wouldn't bring around.
I'm not saying like goofy as in like weird.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying like she's silly.
I'm just telling them. I got what you're saying.
She has a, she has like that energy.
Yeah. So Tiffany has that
light
energy. But then what I love about comedians is when they come back to their like, it's almost like this fixed point. And typically you do it in a joke where you'll mention something lightly in the top, and then at the end you'll close with that same like thing that you had kind of mentioned, and it gets a laugh. So she's so themed out because she's always doing the nay in every one of her stand-up anything, or if she just comes into like, if she's like on a talk show, she'll like walk in like that. I don't know, it's just like it gets you ready. And then she always has like these anecdotes, and she always delivers it so well, because I'll see like on her talk show, like she's talking about the same stuff that's in her book. And in her book she delivers it, but on the talk show she delivers it like it's the first time she's ever told a story. So that's another skill of hers that I'm just like super flattered by, like the way that's always fresh. Yeah, like I'm flattened by it. Like it's always fresh. Like I'm the first person she's ever told this story to. And that's a skill, like, because some people will tell you a story like this is the 17th time, I don't want to tell you, but it's the first time I'm hearing it, And then her last but not least is just like, she's not broke anymore, guys. So like she's rich, trust me. Definitely a millionaire. But she like, that's her theme, like I'm from the hood, I'm frugal, and I'm penny pinching. And then the whole dress thing, like she just knows how to capitalize on her moments and make it a recurring theme that doesn't get old, which is sick. All right.
Okay.
What?
I didn't do my expenses.
Why do you keep forgetting to do your expenses?
It's all right.
I'll be right back.
So,
So it just shuts it off when you don't do your expenses?
Yeah, I mean, it's a credit card, and then Charter pays the credit card. So, like, basically, the credit card is maxed out, if you want to say. I don't know. Whatever, I'll take care of it. What was my thought? Yeah, so she always comes back to the same themes, and the way she boomerangs back like that is pretty impressive. I don't know, I'm just...
Thank you,
Thanks.
have a good day.
Appreciate it. I'm just like, super confident that you're 100% right, that was like probably the funniest host that you've ever seen. Because she is a funny person.
My ring looks like so clean.
Yeah, what happened? Took a shower with it or what?
I mean, I cleaned it recently.
All right,
But
so
I'm just not
I just got the
realizing
bill
it's
back. It's under $30 without my tip. What do you think about the food?
That's alright. I mean, it's not something that I would... Like, if you're just looking just for some regular food, like nothing special, yeah, it's a place to come.
Can't wait to go.
But it's not,
That's funny.
I wouldn't be like, hey, I want to go here again. I wouldn't, yeah.
Yeah, it does seem super average. So, what we're doing out of 10, right?
Yeah.
What do you give it?
I don't know, like a 3.
3 out of 10. Whoa, that's
I mean,
bad.
the soup is good, but again, it's just like, yeah, it's like a loaded potato soup. It's not anything like different. I didn't really like my sandwich too much. I felt like it was really dry. It was like that cheeseburger.
It looked dry.
It was really dry, and I didn't. It's supposed to be a Southwest burger too, and I didn't really taste Southwest part.
How does that taste like?
You don't know what South. Like,
Is that like a spicy type of?
yeah, I think when you think of like if it says Southwestern on it, you think that it's gonna be like avocado taste, or it's gonna have like a like a chipotle type taste. Yeah, and the fries were just like normal
That's sad.
regular fries,
Well,
nothing.
I give it a
Nothing
5 out
special.
of. I give it a 5 out of 10. It is super average.
And I don't think they had any dessert options either.
No, their menu was kind of lame too.
Yeah, it was
So that's an
very-
average of 4 out of 10. Don't come here. Congratulations. The Muni. All right. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.